This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN.Network, and we're a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit, Beaver Creek, which is happening virtually this year. Joining me right now is Brad Langille. He is the president and CEO of GoGold, Silver, and Gold. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you, GGD on the TSX and GLGDF on the OTCQX. Brad, thank you for joining me today. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Good. Good afternoon.
It looks like you're doing good. It's a beautiful day at the mine, it looks like behind you, right?
Yes, the advantages of technology. That is a picture of behind me, the area that we have just drilled off and issued a resource on last week in Los Ricos South. But I am sitting here in Mexico, but I am actually sitting in a hotel room. So hopefully you have a good connection. You know, the internet's so-so here.
Yeah, no, so far so good, and movie magic, everybody. Here we go. So, so Brad, let's start with a very quick overview and history of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, the company's been around for 10 years. I was one of the original investors in the company, founding member of the company. I would be, in fact, the second largest shareholder in the company at around 8%. But I have been CEO for the last 5 years, and the company has one operating mine, our Prel project, and where we produce annually about 2 to 2.5 million silver equivalent ounces. Very good cost, under $15 all in sustaining per silver equivalent ounce. But we have our very exciting Los Ricos district, which is really the driver of the company right now, where we just issued a resource last week.
Very good. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about what makes the company and your projects unique and different compared to some of your peers out there.
Well, I think one thing is, you know, the junior mining business, I wouldn't sit here and tell anybody it's not risky, because it is a risky business, and we're very cyclic driven. I believe we're going into a very good cycle. I've been at this now for 27 years, so I've seen several cycles. And in my career, along with my team, we built 3 large mines, and we refurbished a 4th and doubled the production there. So we have a team who's been totally focused in Mexico. That's my whole career, has been Mexico. We have all the components. We have technical expertise. We're mine builders and explorers. We've bought and sold properties. We found millions and millions of ounces over the years. We have market expertise. We've, over the last 15 years, raised more than $800 million in equity for our projects. And we've done more than a couple $100 million of debt deals as well. So, you know, technical expertise is required to be successful in this business. Financial markets expertise, because these are capital projects that can be quite large. And you put those all together and you can mitigate some of that risk in the mining industry. And, you know, along with that risk, of course, comes great rewards. You know, my very first company, along with my team, we literally took that from the garage to a $2.2 billion company trading in New York and Toronto back in the top of the last boom. We've had companies where we followed a model in Mexico where we've had private families. We have a good grassroots connections with a lot of the private families here in Mexico with off-the-radar assets, bringing hundreds of millions of dollars of capital to them, creating billions of dollars of shareholder wealth. You know, we've done things like bought our Kubo project. That was a mine that operated for 60 years, and we invested $45 million in it. And 2 years later, we sold it for $375 million. So we've had some successes here in Mexico.
Absolutely. So I wanted to actually ask you about some recent news that you just announced. We're recording this on August 13th. So you just came out with this news last week about intersecting 29.8 meters of 713 grams per ton over at the Los Ricos Project. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Los Ricos, the project is really a district, and it has 2 projects, Los Ricos South and Los Ricos North. Now, in Los Ricos South, the other bit of important news here is that we just put out our maiden resource just in the last 2 weeks, where we have drilled now in a measured and indicated category, and that's the highest level measured and indicated of a resource, 63 million ounces of silver equivalent at a very good grade in what we think will be a bulk mineable open pit scenario at about 200 grams. and then another 20 million ounces of inferred silver equivalent at, again, a very good grade as well, about 190 ounces, 190 grams per ton. So that's Los Ricos South. Now that project has a resource today and a very significant one, and growing. But then we have our Los Ricos North. And I've been talking a lot about Los Ricos North because although we think Los Ricos South is great and it's going to have a lot of value, next thing is we're going to have an economic study around that where we're going to really put a pin in that value and be able to talk about it. But Los Ricos North, that's the one that we've been dying to get to. We're now up there drilling it. We first went into Los Ricos North and we were still missing 5 claims. And those, they were quite important to us. And we were able to consolidate those in March. And then we got up there in earnest. And what you saw there, that drill hole was the first drill hole that we released out of there. And it was a real great one. So we have a lot of, we think Los Ricos North is as prospective or maybe many times more prospective than Los Ricos South.
And Brad, from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now for the rest of this year going into 2021?
The value catalysts for us are really very clear because we're doing a lot of drilling. So every week to 10 days, we're putting out drill holes. One of our value catalysts was 2 weeks ago when we put out that first resource, being a very significant resource. In Los Ricos South, we're driving to try to get a PEA or a preliminary economic assessment. That's an economic look at that resource, and we're looking to have that out by the end of the year. Now, at that point, our retail investors, our institutional investors can look at it and say, there's these hundreds of millions of dollars of net asset value, and then they can compare it to our peers. And we think that's going to be very, very favorable for us. In Los Ricos North, the catalyst is really going to be that continued drilling. It's going to become very apparent, I believe, to people that we're going to be building some significant resources up there. I don't know, I did mention, but the other catalyst all the way along here is our operating mine, producing about 2.2 million silver equivalent ounces a year at an all-in cost of $15 an ounce. So with silver now at $26 an ounce plus, you're really looking at margins, and that's after our G&A, after sustaining capital, of in around $11 an ounce. So by quarter, if we're producing 500 to 600,000 ounces, we're really after G&A, we should be generating about $6 million US a quarter. That pays for all of our exploration and adds money to the bank account. And we have a pretty healthy bank account too, at 17.5 million US in the bank today. Another catalyst is that we did a financing back in March, which had a half warrant attached at 85 cents, and it had a trigger on it at $1.20. Well, that trigger has been pulled, and by the end of this month, we should collect all of that additional warrant money, which would be close to another $11 million US. So very healthy bank account at plus $27 million US, and making money and paying for all our exploration and G&A. Very, very strong company.
And with that, where can my audience go and find everything they need to know about GoGold, silver and gold?
Well, at our website, GoGoldResources.com. And we have it all on there. There's a great presentation there in a format called Verify. It's quite interactive, 3-dimensional presentation. And yes, they can go there. And our corp dev, Steve Lowe, his number's on our website, his contacts, and then you can contact him. And if they'd like to talk to myself, Steve can set that up.
Well, Brad, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with me today. I wish you guys the best of luck. Stay safe. And I look forward to our next update.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, my name is Robert Kraft. I'm your host on SNN.Network, and we're a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit Beaver Creek, happening virtually this year. Brad will be there along with GoGold. And thank you all for listening today.